Welcome to Whitetail Rendezvous Podcast. This is Bruce Hutchison, host and executive producer. Each week you will hear tips, techniques, strategies, and personal stories from some of the best and funniest whitetail hunters in North America. Hope you enjoyed today's episode. If you do, tell a friend on social media. If not, tell me and I'll make it better. Thanks for listening, folks. This is Whitetail Rendezvous, episode number 413. Hey, we're going to hang right here in Colorado, and I had my first guest in my studio, Casey and Hope Hutchison. And both of them love to hunt. And as Casey says, Hope is the best hunting partner a guy could ever want. And Hope is from Kansas, so they go back there each fall and hunt Kansas bucks. And she's got some great stories of how she watched her brothers and dad hunt whitetails, and she never did. Well, that's all changed now. She got connected with Casey. They're married, they're hunting, and they're having a great life. So they're going to share some tips, techniques, and strategies with all the listeners today, how to put a big, mature buck on the ground. Hey, folks, this is Bruce Hutchison, your host at Whitetail Rendezvous, and I'm here with Casey and Hope Hutchison, and we're going to talk about the hunting tradition today. And they just happen to be my neighbors, and they live less than a mile away from me, and we were talking on social media, and all of a sudden they said, hey, we'd like to be on your show. And I said, fine, come on over. And they said, come on over. I said, yeah, I don't live that far away. And the neat thing about it is they went by my son's house. He had my truck and all my decals and on it with Whitetail Rendezvous. And they thought it was funny. So anyway, they're here this evening, and we're going to talk about the hunting tradition. First, we're going to talk with Hope. And Hope, tell me about your hunting tradition, what it wasn't, and then how that changed when you met Casey.
I really didn't have a hunting tradition. I grew up with 4 boys and my dad, but I didn't hunt a lot at all. I basically played sports all the time. So I hunted like squirrels and rabbits, but I really didn't get into hunting until I met my husband. And he was an avid hunter, so I thought, why not try it? I'll try anything once. So we went out turkey hunting. Our relationship was very new, so went out and experienced that, and I fell in love. Not only with him, but
you fell in love. Wait a minute.
It's a lot of fun. It's not a lot of husband and wives get to have so much in common, especially something like hunting. So we'll go out for the weekend and spend 3 or 4 days with nothing but a tent and us. So it's a good bonding experience as well. I mean, in addition to having fun. So yeah.
Well, tell me about your first turkey hunt. How'd that go?
My first turkey hunting with him.
Yeah.
It was good. We took the kids out. I didn't have a tag at the time. I wasn't a Colorado resident. I had just moved here, so it was exhilarating to watch 30 turkeys come in just off of a call, and to watch 2 of our kids, well, his kids at the time, but shoot 2 turkeys at 8 o'clock in the morning was a lot of fun. So I had to get my hands dirty. I wanted to do it real bad. So not long after that, I became a resident, and my first hunting experience was turkey, but it was in Kansas, right?
No, it was here.
Was it here?
Mm-hmm.
I don't remember where it was.
Yeah, it was. I like to say it was at Notellum Creek. But yeah, it was here in Colorado, and we had those 7 come up to hill.
Oh, right. Okay. So there's no other feeling than to watch a Jake or even a Tom come in, and your heart's beating really fast, and you're shaky, and you kind of zone in, like you get tunnel vision. So it's addicting. That feeling is addicting. So I've never looked back. It's a lot of fun.
Well, Casey, how did you start hunting? You told me the hunting tradition wasn't so big, and you're self-taught.
Yeah, so it was actually 15 years ago. I was young and I quit drinking and I got bored. So I went out and bought a shotgun. I had a friend that duck hunted. He said he'd take me duck hunting, so we went down on the Arkansas River and I shot my first duck. And his lame dog wouldn't go get it, so I had to strip down and walk across the Arkansas River in the middle of January to go get that duck. And
oh my goodness,
for some reason I was hooked. I loved it, and I've really never looked back. I've done a lot of reading. I've done a lot of the beginner mistakes, taking bad advice from hunters that don't give a crap about the sport, and they don't care to share what they know. So based on that, I've been that guy that I'll share it. I might not give you my spot, but I'll share it. I'll share that knowledge, and just like I would with my children, because there are people out there like me that didn't grow up hunting, and without somebody sharing that knowledge with them, they're not going to be successful in the field. And that's why we're here. We're all wanting to be successful in the field. So, I like with turkey hunting. Turkey hunting for me, I had a coworker take me out, and his name was Bo, and I told him I didn't know anything about hunting, and he took me out and taught me how to use the calls, taught me when to draw the bow, when to shut up, when to call, and I've kind of honed my skills. I would say I am a turkey hunter above all other things. I got my first turkey that year, and I wanted another one. And this is how new I was. I didn't know you couldn't have 2 over-the-counter tags in Colorado. So I went to DOW to get a tag, and they were like, "No, we can't. You already been issued an over-the-counter tag. You can't get another one." So things at that very moment really exploded for me because, one, I got my first turkey. I was over the top happy. Two, on my way out of the door, there was a soldier from Fort Carson that was walking in the door, and he was going to ask them where a good spot to go turkey hunting was. At the time, I had a lease pretty close to town, and being a soldier and kind of reaching out, I said, I'll take you tomorrow. And he said, "Well, okay, what do you charge?" I said, "Nothing. I'll take you. I love this. I want to go. I want to go more." And uh, about 6:45 that morning, he killed a big tom.
Oh my goodness!
Yeah, ended up he was the owner of a call company. He was making calls here in Colorado, and primarily predator calls, but he was getting into the turkey slate calls, and he offered me a shot at his ProStaff, which was just amazing. I had never coyote hunted before, so he wanted to teach me coyote hunting. So I said okay, and we went out, and on a full moon night, we went out the next morning. We shouldn't have seen any coyotes. We shouldn't have even been able to call a coyote on a day like that, and we killed 5. And that afternoon, he told me that he was sending me to the World Championship to represent his company, and we placed top 20 in the World Championship.
Wow!
And I had never hunted. I'd never hunted coyotes at that time.
But you could call.
I could call, and I was addicted to calling. That's where it's at. So, goose hunting and waterfowl hunting, things like that. The Colorado mule deer, it doesn't get me. I like turkeys. I like elk. I like coyotes. I like the animals that you can call in and get close.
Yeah, and so do I. I mean, I think of bears. Anyway, different stuff we called. Yeah. That wolf hide, my guy called in, voice called.
Yeah.
Up in British Columbia.
Yeah, that's I have a bucket list of things to do.
Oh,
and
well, if you ever want to go get a wolf, he voice calls. That's all he does.
Wow. Yeah, I love calling. We did call a wolf in Colorado.
There's no wolves in Colorado.
Well, according to the DOW, there's no wolves in Colorado, but we called a black wolf in southern Colorado, and we were hunting close to the New Mexico border during the World Championship competition, and there are no doubts it was a wolf. So I've seen, you get out hunting, you don't know what you're going to see,
right?
And that's the other really, really cool thing about being outdoors and being able to share that with your kids or somebody new that hasn't experienced those things is, calling in a coyote that runs across your lap and you're able to shotgun them.
Boom.
I mean, I don't know how many people have ever had a coyote actually thump their legs as it's running. But it's as your 4-year-old son is sitting next to you, I've had some really, really cool experiences.
Yeah, sounds that way. Now, have you guys ever hunted whitetails at all?
We do. We are not. We're not what you would call trophy hunters. I'm definitely whatever God decides to put in front of us at the moment is what we're gonna take. And Hope, being from Kansas, going out to family property out there, and we go out for the January doe season, which is pretty cheap for out-of-staters. But we're able to fill our freezer pretty well on whitetail does. We have not been out chasing the bucks yet. Not yet.
So are you shooting, both of you shooting bows also?
Yeah, we mostly archery hunt elk.
Okay.
Otherwise we rifle hunt everything else. Well, turkey we use shotgun, but archery hunt is just elk.
So how do you get in shape? A lot of my listeners are in the West, and I just talked to one in South Dakota, Reed Vanderveen, and he's heading out to Colorado. So what advice do you have for those guys and gals that are heading out to Colorado in a couple months and chasing elk?
Well, we could say come here and do the incline. The Manitou Incline's a good one.
Tell the people what Manitou Incline is.
Oh, it's a tourist trap that it's like the stairway to heaven. It goes up. I don't even know the elevation.
2,000.
It climbs 2,000 feet in elevation in probably half a mile of horizontal travel.
Yeah, it's sick.
It's intense, and there's a line to get on the stairs to go up it every day. We don't do that. We try to eat right. We try to stay in shape and get to the gym as much as possible. Which is, with 3 children, it's almost impossible. But we get there where we can. We're active people. We do what we can to stay in shape. We have an archery competition, or I shouldn't say competition, an archery shoot this weekend coming up, put on by Out West Athlete here in Colorado Springs, and we are not ready for it. We're not physically prepared for it. We're not anywhere close to where we should be. Just last night we had to turn Hope's bow down so she could draw it more than once. So, with that, we bought an Accubow. We think it's going to be a good tool. We were invited to ProStaff for Accubow, so we're gonna start doing that and see where it gets us physically, gets us prepared for archer season. Get it, improve our accuracy. Definitely work on that draw weight. Hope is shooting a bow the 18-inch draw length,
90
or 19-inch. Sorry, 19-inch draw length. Her arrows are super short, so she really needs the extra advantage of the weight of the bow to be more ethical and lethal.
Have you ever thought of a crossbow?
We have. Here in Colorado, the crossbows you aren't allowed to use during archery season. So,
except guys like me with pins and shoulder.
Yeah, there you go, pins and shoulder and a doctor's note.
Pretty much.
Yeah. So no, we stick to the bow, and we're just adamant. We'll connect one day. My first archery season, what got me hooked was the second day out. I called a nice 6x6 in to within 25 yards, and like I say, I can call. I didn't say I could shoot.
Well, I'm gonna have to talk to you because I didn't draw. I did not draw one tag at all in Colorado this year.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna be over the counter for elk. That's for sure. I mean, so I'm gonna be hunting numerous different places, but I'd love to go out with you at least a couple of days.
Oh yeah.
That would really be fun.
Yeah, we don't go too rough. We, my thing is we've got to be able to pack the animal out, and
You can, if you break them down, you can go further than what you think.
Oh, absolutely. It's a matter of getting them broke down and getting them out.
You just got to debone them.
With our archery season in the last couple of years, we've fought weather. It's been 80 to 90 degrees during our archery season. So if you're back in the backcountry 7 miles, the likelihood of me and my wife getting a bull elk out in time where you're not ruining any of the meat is probably pretty slim. So we tend to not go that deep. We typically stay within probably a mile and a half of the trail or wherever we park, which really limits you. So we found areas in Colorado where you can access with horseback or even a four-wheeler and get you in further away from the mayhem of the weekend hikers, the typical things we call rat and sea in our mountains, but we haven't made the connect yet. We've been close. Not this last season, the season before, we got to draw our bows on the first elk that Hope ever laid eyes on, and about halfway through the draw, my shoulder let go.
Oh no!
So that was the second to last day of season. By the end of the day, my shoulder was fine, and I woke up the next morning and it was definitely torn. So our season was over. Yeah, that's how it goes. And so being able to stay healthy and we live in town, so we can't shoot every day. We're 30 minutes from the nearest range. It's not legal to shoot in town. So when Accubow made the offer, we really pondered on it for about 2 weeks, and we went ahead and bought in. So hopefully, the strengthening and conditioning, being ready for that spur of the moment you draw your bow, and everything's shaking. Your nerves are up, the adrenaline's rushing, and you draw your bow, and you don't get your shoulder in the perfect position. It's a season ender. So I think if we're more prepared, we'll be a lot better off. I'm not getting younger.
You're doing fine. You're doing fine. That's for sure. That's for sure. Now, Hope's getting a new rifle and it's getting built for you. It's on a uppers and lowers AR frame.
Yep.
So tell us about that.
Yeah. So we're having a local guy, Cheyenne Mountain Arms. We took it in and have it Cerakoted. It's a 308, and our friend that owns the company called us down one day to talk about the stock and what stock we're going to put on the gun. And he surprised us. What he did was kind of a custom hand painted First Lite fusion pattern on the gun. And as far as we know,
let's stop right there.
Never been
you
done.
Mentioned First Lite. Folks, I don't know anything about First Lite camo.
We're going to teach you.
So okay, and so we're gonna screen share now. In Firefox. And okay. Hold on, folks. I'll get you there. Page. Okay, here we are. There. Thank you. A First Lite.
LIT.
T. Okay. Pants.
Go to their site.
Right here.
FirstLite.com homepage. Yep.
Okay, where's First Lite? Where'd it go? Okay, first. About this, folks, but I really want to see this First Lite gear. Honey Apparel, right?
Yep.
Oh, that's where you get the logo from.
Yeah. Yeah. So.
Okay, where do I go from here? Product.
Just go to like men's bottoms. Right there. So this is the backcountry hunter's dream. This clothing is awesome. It's like Kuyu and Sitka, and it's got the hunter's needs built into it. And when they engineer the clothing, they really think about what we need in the backcountry. And all the owners, everybody that works at First Lite, they're all hunters.
Where are they out of?
Idaho.
So I hope you can see that, folks. And there's a plug for First Lite. I don't have any of the gear. Casey and Hope said, hey, you got to check this out. So we just checked it out. So there you go, folks.
Yeah. Yeah. So back to the rifle. So we're having it built. He made the suggestion of changing it over from a 308 to a 6.5 Creedmoor, which to me is a no-brainer. We just have to talk to the pocketbook.
Yeah.
And my wife.
Well, I've just had good things about the 6.5.
Yeah.
A couple of years ago, I shot one. I really liked it.
Yeah, it's a good all-around round. The 308 is not bad. They've used it tactically, and the people have used it in the hunting world forever. I just think for what we do, as far as the distance shooting we like to do and stuff like that, and the 6.5 Creedmoor just makes sense. But we're working on getting a proof research barrel for it, and doing it right. But it's all about the pocketbook.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah.
Exactly what it is. So thinking about the upcoming season, and I asked you this before, I'm going to ask it again. What recommendations do you have for out-of-state hunters coming to Colorado?
Get in shape. Don't wait. I've ran into people in the backcountry that are from Florida that were up in the high country of Colorado hunting, and they had been doing the P90X for a year, getting ready for a Colorado hunt, and it was everything they could do to take a step. Once you get to the elevation, it's a game changer. You could be Cameron Haynes and get out to the high country of Colorado, and he's going to be sucking wind too. So no matter if you think you're in the best shape of your life, keep working. Like I said, the elevation's a game changer. We live here, and we go up to 10,000 feet, and I'm sucking wind. I do wildland fire in the mountains, and so I get up to elevation and I work physically for days on end, and it hurts, and if you're going to be up here expecting to backpack in 7 miles, kill a monster bull elk, and pack it out, you have to do the math. If you're by yourself and you put down a bull elk, you're going to make a trip per quarter, most likely, and then the scraps and the antlers, and then you have to go back in and get camp out. So
that's six round trips.
6 round trips. You could be doing over 70 miles on foot.
Easily.
So, and quickly. You have to move quickly. You have meat on your back. It's your responsibility to get that meat out in a usable fashion, in time, and protect the meat. And you better be ready. Just like it's kind of the opposite for us. Like, when we go out to the flatlands of Kansas and we go hunting, we feel like beasts. I can climb those hills and it's great. But when you're coming from a lower elevation and expecting to do well in Colorado, be prepared to suck wind.
What do you think?
I agree. I think we probably drink more water than we ever have when we're hunting. And we eat a lot just because of the calorie expenditure that we deal with on even a 3-day hunt. So I guess spinning off of being ready, make sure you're prepared with water and food, that because you're gonna work. I mean, we work and we haven't even got a knockdown yet. So, well, I haven't got a knockdown yet. So I agree with him. It's gonna be tough, regardless whether you train for a year or train for a few months.
And especially some of these hunters that are coming to Colorado, they're not the average guy. They can afford to come to Colorado and hunt. It's not cheap. I would say even if they're planning on getting a guide, prepare yourself physically, mentally, because you're going to prepare yourself physically and expect to come out here and do well. And once that elevation kicks in, it's kind of a mind jam, and it'll become a mental block. You get to the point that you don't want to continue hunting. Just stay at it, like Hope said. Stay well hydrated, and bring food that's going to do the work it needs to do. And you're not going camping. You're going to the mountains to work. And if you're expecting to catch some trout in the creek and have that for dinner, I'm telling you, it's not enough. So we eat like beasts when we're out there.
Well, you burn up all those calories.
Yeah, right. Absolutely.
And you don't lose weight. I mean, you don't gain weight. You lose it.
No, you don't. And we eat well enough. We've learned over the years what we need to have. So you go out on a 7-day hunt and you're expected to drop 10 pounds because you're working so hard, and we get home and you're a little disappointed because you actually didn't. Because if you're feeding your body the right way to be prepared for the work that needs to happen, especially after a kill, you're going to be a lot more successful. So physically, the P90X, the high intensity training is really, really good. But you need endurance, and the P90X and things like that don't really work on endurance. So if your knees are good enough, you can get out and go running. If you have the money to make a couple trips out here or the time, make a couple trips out here and get into the high country and prepare yourself.
Yeah, I always tell people, hit Denver, hit Colorado Springs, hit Fort Carson, Fort Collins, and then just stay there overnight. Don't, just take some time. Just, R&R, just relax and let your body acclimate to 5,000 feet, or here it's over 6.
Yeah.
And before you even start thinking about going to the mountain.
Yeah. So like that Manitou incline that we were talking about earlier, there's people that come here as tourists and they get here and that's the first thing they want to do because, back in California, they're extremely healthy people and they can run up those mountains and they don't make it 600 feet up that mountain and
they're done.
They're done. We saw a guy load a backpack up with 45 pounds and
no.
Oh yes, and he was going to do it and he was he was kind of talking his group down, like, come on, you guys, try to keep up with me. And before he made it out of the parking lot, he was pulling the weight out of that backpack. He was a big guy.
Doesn't matter.
NFL size linebacker guy, and the elevation, I can't say it enough. It is the game changer.
Yeah, that's for sure. So, folks, that's basically our little discussion with Casey and Hope here at Mission Control. This is Bruce Hutchison, your host and executive producer. And Casey and Hope, thank you so much for coming on by the house. This is the first one. You guys are the first ones that ever did it live in my office here in Colorado Springs.
Nice. So, well, look us up on Instagram on Hutch Has a Little Hope.
Okay. Thanks, folks. We're heading up to Calgary, Alberta, Canada for the next episode of Whitetail Rendezvous. And we're going to meet with Frans Diepstraten. Now, Frans grew up in the Netherlands, so the style of hunting was all driven hunting. And he's going to share that and how that helped shape his hunting tradition on the show. Also, he's going to speak directly to being sheep-shaped 365 days a year. Frans gets a chance to hunt a lot of big game there in the Rockies of Canada, and he knows he must work out every single day to do something to keep his body in sheep shape. It's going to be a great show. You're going to pick up some hints and techniques, and you don't want to miss it.
Thanks for joining us. Be sure to tune in tomorrow for another episode of Whitetail Rendezvous, where you can listen and learn from the experts so you can be more successful on your next hunt. Until next time, listen, learn, and succeed.